They said I'd fall apart, but he made me want everything I swore I'd never need. The bell above the diner door jingles when I push it open, and every head turns, every single head. It's the curse of living in a town that can fit inside a coffee cup. Everyone knows your favorite pie flavor, your mother's maiden name, and apparently the details of your husband's affair. I stand there for a breath, letting the humid scent of frying bacon and old coffee wrap around me like smoke. The chatter doesn't stop, not really. It just lowers, turns into something sharp and whispering, like scissors snipping fabric behind my back. My heels click against the scuffed floor as I walk toward the only empty booth. The sound feels louder than it should. People glance up from their pancakes, pretending not to stare, pretending they didn't see the photo. My husband, mouth pressed to another woman's throat like he couldn't breathe without her. My hands shake, but I don't let it show. Not here. Not to them. "Morning, Claire." The voice comes from my left. It's warm, rich, with a hint of teasing. And God help me, it makes something inside me unclench for the first time in days. Ethan Reed. He's leaning against the counter like it belongs to him, which technically it does. The diner's his. He runs it with the same steady ease he's had since high school football and summer bonfires. He looks at me with those impossible gray eyes, steady and storm-swept, like nothing about me has changed. Like I'm not the woman whose life just went up in flames. "Morning," I say, my voice even, though my pulse is a drum line in my throat. "You want your usual?" he asks, and there's no judgment in his tone. None of the pity I've seen everywhere else. Just simple, grounding certainty. I almost say yes. Almost let him anchor me the way he always has. But something stops me. Maybe it's the way the women in the back booth are watching, eyes sharp as needles. "Something different," I murmur, sliding into the booth. "Surprise me." One corner of his mouth lifts. Slow, dangerous. A smile that feels like a secret. "You sure you trust me with that?" I don't answer. I just hold his gaze, and for a moment the whole diner falls away. It's just him and me. The low hum of something that feels a lot like possibility curling between us. When he turns to put in my order, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. The truth is, Ethan Reed was my first crush. The boy I kissed under the bleachers when I was 16 and reckless. The one I almost loved. Before I married Daniel. Before I built a life on vows that turned out to be hollow. And now, here, he is, the man who once made me believe in forever, standing in the same small town where forever just crumbled to dust. I stare out the window, trying to ignore the ache in my chest, the tightness in my throat. Outside, Main Street is the same as it's always been. Bricked sidewalks, flower boxes, the old clock tower marking time like it's something we can hold on to. But everything feels different now, like the air shifted, like the ground tilted just enough to make me lose my balance. The coffee lands on the table with a soft clink. Ethan slides it toward me, his fingers brushing mine. Just a graze. Barely, there. But it sends a sharp, bright jolt up my arm. "You okay?" he asks quietly. And God, it's the worst question. Because I'm not. I'm splintered glass, sharp edges and broken reflections. But I lift my chin and meet his gaze anyway. "I will be," I say. He studies me for a long moment, his eyes searching like he wants to peel back every layer, find the girl I used to be. The one who laughed too loud and loved too hard. "You always were tough," he says finally, and the way he says it, it sounds like a promise. Like he believes in me more than I believe in myself right now. Something shifts in me then. A tiny spark. A flicker of something that feels almost like defiance. I'm done hiding, done shrinking. If they're going to talk, let them choke on it. I wrap my hands around the mug, let the warmth sink into my bones and think, maybe this isn't the end of my story. Maybe it's the beginning. And as Ethan leans closer, voice dropping low enough that only I can hear, got a feeling. You're about to shake this town up, Claire. The diner empties slowly like someone's pulling the plug and letting the morning crowd drain out. Sunlight slants across the linoleum, warm and honey gold, catching in the steam that curls from my coffee. It should feel ordinary, familiar. But nothing feels ordinary anymore. Ethan moves behind the counter with the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly where everything belongs. Except now, every small motion, every turn of his wrist, every slow, measured step feels like a ripple through still water. I can't stop watching him. When he finally walks toward my booth, it feels like gravity, like something inevitable pulling us closer. He's carrying a plate, eggs, bacon, toast. But his eyes are all on me. Something different, I'd said. And he's given me the breakfast equivalent of comfort and chaos. A plate that says I remember what you like, but I'm not afraid to change the rules. He sets it down and slides into the seat across from me without asking. Like he's allowed. Like he always has been. You're sitting, I say, a little too softly. Yeah. He rests his forearms on the table, leans in just enough that I can catch the faint scent of soap and coffee clinging to his skin. Clean. Simple. The kind of scent that makes me want to breathe deeper than I should. Haven't had my break yet, I raise an eyebrow. And you picked now? Figured you could use the company. His voice is calm, but there's something under it, a current I can't name, pulling me toward a place I swore I wouldn't go again. I should tell him no. Should tell him I'm fine, really, that I don't need anyone sitting across from me looking at me like I'm not broken. But I don't. Instead, I pick up my fork and cut into the eggs just to keep from answering. They're perfect. Of course, they are. Sunny side up, edges crisp just so. It feels like a memory sliding across my tongue, the kind of breakfast someone makes for you when they care. Good? He asks. I nod, because the truth is sitting heavy in my throat. Because yes, Ethan, it's good and you're good. And everything about this moment feels dangerous and necessary all at once. He studies me for a long moment. His gaze isn't harsh, but it's unflinching. How bad has it been? There it is, the question I've been dreading. Not the "are you okay?" he asked earlier, but the one that cracks me open. I set the fork down, fingers curling tight against the cool edge of the plate. Bad enough? People around here. He glances toward the door, like he can see through it, see the whispers curling in the streets. They eat this stuff up like it's dessert. Let them, I say, even though my voice isn't as steady as I want it to be. His eyes come back to mine, sharp as a blade, soft as velvet. You don't deserve that, Claire. Something in me stumbles. The way he says my name, low, certain, like it's worth something, makes my chest ache. It's been so long since someone said it like that. I married him, I say finally. I believed him. That's on me. No, Ethan says, and the word is quiet but fierce. That's on him. I look down because if I look at him any longer, I'll fall apart. But then his hand moves, slow, deliberate, across the table. His fingers stop just short of mine, close enough that I can feel the heat, the promise of touch, hanging like a question in the air. I should pull back, should breathe, should remember that this is Ethan Reed, the boy I almost loved once, the man I can't afford to want now. But my body doesn't listen. It leans into that heat like a flower toward sunlight. You ever think, he says softly, about what life would have been like if you'd made a different choice? The words hit me like a match to dry kindling. Heat surges up my spine, into my cheeks. Because yes, God, yes, I've thought about it. I thought about it the night I put on that white dress, the day I walked down the aisle to Daniel and wondered for just a heartbeat if I was saying yes to the wrong man. I can't. My voice breaks, so I stop, swallow hard. I can't do this. Do what? His tone is all innocence, but his eyes know exactly what he's doing. This, I whisper. Whatever this is. He leans back then, slow, controlled, like he's giving me space. But the pull doesn't ease. If anything, it gets stronger. Because now there's a question in the air, a question that tastes like risk and longing and everything I'm not ready for. Outside, a car horn blares. The spell cracks. I breathe again, shallow and sharp. Eat your breakfast, Claire, he says, and his mouth curves. Not a smile, not really. Something darker. Something that promises this isn't over. And, deep down I know he's right. The storm comes the next night. Not rain, not yet, but a different kind of storm. The kind made of whispers that run like wildfire through every kitchen, every porch, every bar stool in town. Claire Harper was at the courthouse with Ethan Reed. She held his hand. It's not true. Not the way they think. But truth never mattered here, not when scandal tastes sweeter than pie. By the time I close the curtains in my living room, the air feels thick with judgment pressing against the glass. I pour a glass of wine, hands trembling, just enough to make it slosh against the rim. It's not fear, it's fury. Fury at Daniel for putting me here. Fury at myself for letting them win every time I hide. And then there's the other feeling. The one I'm trying hardest to ignore. The one that starts every time I think of gray eyes and a voice that feels like safety wrapped in sin. A knock breaks the silence. I freeze, wine glass halfway to my lips. Another knock, firmer this time. I don't have to ask who it is. I know. Every nerve in my body knows. When I open the door, Ethan's standing there in the spill of porch light, rain slicker unzipped, hair damp from the mist curling off the river. He looks like something carved out of midnight. Dark, sure, unshakable. You shouldn't be here, I say, but it comes out soft. Almost like stay. He steps inside anyway without waiting for an answer. Drops of rain glitter on his sleeves. His jaw set tight. Town's on fire with talk, he says, voice low. You doing okay? I laugh, a sharp, brittle sound that doesn't feel like mine. Sure, I'm great. Half the county thinks I'm sleeping with you, so what's not to love? Let them think what they want. His tone cuts clean through the bitterness. You don't owe them a damn thing. They think I'm a joke, I whisper, and God, it hurts how true that feels. The loyal wife who got humiliated. The one who ran crying into the arms of, stop. The word snaps like a whip. He takes a step closer, then another, until he's right in front of me, rainwater dripping onto my floor. Don't you dare do that to yourself. I lift my chin, but my voice shakes. You think I don't hear what they say? I don't give a damn what they say. His eyes lock on mine, fierce and unflinching. You hear me, Claire? I don't care. And you shouldn't either. My breath hitches. Because no one said that, not once. Everyone else just tilts their head with pity, or leans in to taste the gossip on their tongues. But him, he says it like truth, like gospel. And suddenly, all the walls I've built, all the brittle little defenses, start to crack. I hate him, I choke out. The confession rips free before I can stop it. I hate what he did to me. His jaw tightens. Good. Hold on to that. I gave him everything, I whisper. Years of my life, and he... My voice breaks, tears burning, hot at the back of my throat. Was I not enough? Don't. Ethan's voice is rough now, like gravel. His hands curl into fists at his sides. Don't you ever ask that. He's the one who wasn't enough. The words slam into me, leaving me bare, raw. And then, God help me, I'm moving. I don't think, I don't breathe. I just step forward, closing the space between us like it was never there. His hands catch my arms, not to push me away but to hold me steady, to anchor me when everything else is spinning. And the heat of him, the sheer solid presence of him, it undoes me. Claire, he murmurs, like my name is something holy. Tell me to stop. I should. Every reason in the world says I should. But the truth is, I don't want to. Not anymore. I can't. I whisper, that's all it takes. His forehead comes to rest against mine, breath mingling with mine in a rush that feels like 1,000 storms breaking loose. And then his hands are on my face, rough palms cradling me like I'm something precious, something worth saving. His thumb sweeps across my cheek, catching a tear I didn't know had fallen. The kiss doesn't come yet. It hovers there, trembling on the edge of everything. Hot breath, parted lips, the promise of something we've both been starving for. My heart hammers so hard I swear he can feel it. Ethan, it's barely a sound. Just a plea. Just a prayer, and then his lips brush mine. Featherlight, a ghost of a kiss. Enough to burn me alive and leave me aching for more. It deepens for half a breath, just enough to taste him, just enough to know I'll never forget this moment. And then he tears himself away, chest heaving like he's fought a war. We can't, he says, voice raw, almost broken. Not like this. And then he's gone. The door. Election night smells like rain and coffee. The courthouse steps are slick under my heels, the old stone shining under street lamps. Voices echo off brick walls. Laughter, tension, the hum of small-town politics in full swing. And I'm standing, here in the middle of it, breathing like the whole world is balanced on this moment. 2 months ago, they whispered about me in grocery aisles, called me a fool, a pity case, said I'd fade into the wallpaper, too broken to stand. Now, my name is on the ballot, my face on signs lining Main Street. And tonight, they're about to see what happens when a woman refuses to stay small. Claire. The sound of my name pulls me around, and there he is. Ethan. Standing just outside the crowd, shirt open at the collar, jacket slung over one shoulder like sin in human form. He hasn't touched me since that night. Hasn't kissed me, hasn't crossed that line again. But the tension hasn't faded. It's grown. It lives in the air between us, humming like a live wire. You came, I say, and my voice betrays me. Too soft, too relieved. Wouldn't miss it. He steps closer, his eyes searching mine like they did the night everything almost shattered. You ready? I laugh, low and shaky. Doesn't matter if I am. It's happening. He studies me for a long, still moment. No, he says, voice steady as steel. You're ready. Something twists deep in my chest. Before I can answer, the doors open and the election official steps out with a sheet of paper clutched in her hand. The crowd surges forward, voices pitching high, and then I hear it. My name, Claire Harper, Town Council. The cheers hit like a wave, but all I feel is this fierce, raw burn in my throat, Not from tears, from triumph, from taking back something that was stolen. People clap me on the back, shake my hand, smile like they never doubted me. Hypocrites, most of them. But I don't care. Not tonight. Tonight I prove something, and then I see Daniel. He's standing across the steps, half in shadow, face tight and pale. The man who broke me with a kiss that wasn't mine. The man who thought I'd curl up and die so he could play house with. Someone younger, prettier, emptier. He starts toward me, and for a second the old fear flares. The one that kept me small for years. But it dies just as fast, crushed under the weight of who I am now. What do you want, Daniel? My voice carries over the noise, cool and calm. You made a fool of yourself, he hisses, dragging our name through the mud. Our name? I laugh, sharp and cold. You did that all by yourself. His jaw tightens. You think this makes you strong, sitting on some council? No, I say, stepping in close enough that he feels the fire in my words. What makes me strong is standing here without you, and not giving a damn who's watching. His mouth opens, then shuts. He's not used to this version of me. He never will be. Goodbye, Daniel. And just like that, he's gone. The crowd starts to thin, leaving confetti and echoes behind. And then, it's quiet. Just me on the steps, the rain starting to fall in soft silver threads. And Ethan. He's leaning against the railing, watching me like I'm something rare. Something untouchable. But the look in his eyes says he wants to touch anyway. You were incredible, he says softly. I shake my head, breath catching. I was terrified. Doesn't show. He comes closer, slow and certain, like a man who knows there's no going back from this. You were fire, Claire. I've never seen anything like it. And God help me, I don't want to be strong right now. Not with him, not anymore. When he reaches me, I don't wait. I grab his shirt, fist tight in the fabric, and pull him down. The kiss isn't soft this time. It's a storm. Wild, unstoppable, burning through every rule we tried to keep. His hands are everywhere, my face, my hair, my waist, like he's memorizing what he almost lost. The taste of him floods my senses, dark and sweet and dangerous, and I want more. When we break for air, his forehead rests against mine, breath ragged. Tell me this isn't just about him, he whispers. I lift my gaze to his, steady and sure. It's not, I say. It's about me. Finally choosing what I want. And then I kiss him again. Slow this time. Certain. The rain pours harder, soaking us both, but I don't care. For the first time in months, maybe years, I feel alive. And by the time I leave the diner, the sun has climbed high, burning away the morning mist. Main Street hums with life. Shops open, doors swinging, laughter spilling out like something pure. But every sound feels edged, like they're laughing at me. My husband's name, Daniel, is still on people's tongues. The man I built a life with, the man I defended when he made stupid mistakes, the man who looked me in the eye and swore I was his everything, now reduced me to gossip in a town that feeds on secrets like sugar. I walk fast, head high, though every window feels like an eye. Every step is a dare. You want a show? Watch this. Watch me not break. But the cracks are there. I feel them with every beat of my heart. And by the time I reach the courthouse steps, the place where they post the notices, where the election board meets, I don't just feel cracks. I feel something breaking loose, something wild. A notice catches my eye. Town council elections in 2 months. Filing still open. My throat goes tight. my pulse pounding so loud it drowns everything else. Could I? Could I turn this into something more than shame? The idea plants itself like a seed, and suddenly I can't breathe because it feels alive, urgent. A reason not to disappear, a reason to matter again. I'm still staring when a voice behind me says, "Didn't peg you for the courthouse type." I turn, heart leaping like it's got something to hide. And there he is. Ethan. Leaning against the old brick wall like he's part of it. Arms folded, shirt sleeves rolled to the elbow. Sunlight catches on the dark hair at his temples, the hard line of his jaw. "Following me now?" I ask, aiming for cool, but it comes out breathless. He grins, slow and unrepentant. "No, but I saw you bolt out of the diner like someone lit a fire under you. Thought maybe you could use company." "You always think that." "Because I'm usually right." He steps closer and the air feels different, charged, alive. "What's got you staring at that board like it owes you money?" I swallow hard. My throat is dry, but the words come anyway. "Town council elections." He lifts a brow. "You thinking of running?" I should laugh, tell him no. Tell him it's just a thought, a spark, nothing real. But when I open my mouth, what comes out is, "Yes." The word hangs between us, electric and reckless. And for a second, I expect him to laugh. But he doesn't. His expression doesn't. Even flicker. "Good," he says instead, and his voice is quiet but sure. "This town could use someone like you." Something sharp twists in my chest. Not pity, not platitudes. Belief. Real, solid belief. "You don't even know if I'd be any good," I whisper. "I know you," he says, stepping closer. So close now I can see the faint scar on his jaw, the one he got when we were kids and he fell off his bike. "You don't quit, even when you should." My laugh catches, raw and a little broken. "Not sure that's a compliment." "It is," he says, softer now. "You've got fight in you, Claire. Always have." And then, silence. The kind that hums. The kind that makes your skin too tight because everything unsaid is pressing close. His eyes drop to my mouth just for a second. Just long enough to steal my breath. "Ethan." My voice is a warning. Or maybe it's a plea. I'm not sure anymore. "What?" His tone is velvet and steel all at once. "We can't what?" He takes another step, closing the last inch of space, and I feel it. His heat, his certainty, the way the world narrows down to just him. "This," I whisper. And then his hand moves. Not to my face, not to my waist. Just to my hand, fingers brushing, curling, catching mine like he's afraid I'll run. It's nothing. It's everything. "You think I care about what they'll say?" His voice is low, fierce. "Let them talk, Claire. They're talking anyway." My breath shudders out, and before I can stop myself, the truth spills, soft and broken. I don't know who I am without him. Ethan's jaw tightens. He leans in so close I feel his breath against my ear when he says, "Then let's find out." The words slam into me like a heartbeat, and for one wild second I almost turn. Almost let him kiss me the way I've imagined 1,000 times since I was 16. But then a door slams behind us. Laughter. Voices. People spilling out of the courthouse steps. The spell shatters like glass. Ethan doesn't move. His hand is still on mine, warm and solid. His eyes are fire and storm and something that feels too much like hope. "Claire," he says,